I have been watching baseball for almost 3 decades, and I can safely say I have never seen anything like this next clip. A fan had to remind Tony La Russa to put in a pinch runner.
Hey, Tony! Hey, Tony, run angle! Get angle in there!
Get a pinch run.
He's getting angle.
He's pitched. And he called it. And he called it. And he's doing it.
What?
What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. If this is your first time on the channel, we do this every single day, so don't be afraid to stick around. We have a lot to talk about. Aaron Hicks maybe had his most embarrassing game of his entire career. And speaking of embarrassing, the Angels threw away a game in a very embarrassing fashion, and an update on Fernando Tatis Jr., courtesy of his daddy. Remember, everyone, if you're going to any baseball games or concerts anytime soon, use code FUZZY on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off your entire order. And without further ado, let's get into the recap from yesterday. The Braves not only beat the New York Mets, they mocked and embarrassed them. Well, Fuzzy, how did they mock them? Well, I can't play it due to copyright, but after William Contreras hit that home run, they played Edwin Diaz's trumpet song when he comes out to close a game, and he has that trumpet song. Yeah, they played that in the stadium. Ronald had himself a day. There's one RBI double. There's a second RBI double. There's a third RBI double. Dansby Swanson also had a 3 RBI day as well, and so did Travis d'Arnaud. With one swing, he makes it 13-1. As Spencer Strider, he got a little bit of payback because we remember he wasn't really talking smack, but he said that the Mets were a very lucky offense in the game that he pitched. They got some lucky hits. I just cannot wait for game 2 of the series. While we're on the subject of embarrassing, yeah, it got a little bit ugly later in this one, but first let's talk about Jesse Winker and Luis Rengifo, because they traded home runs off of the studs Luis Castillo and Shohei Ohtani. JP Crawford got to Ohtani again, but so did the Angels with Castillo. Shohei, he ended his day with 2 earned runs and 8 strikeouts. He is now 5th in Major League Baseball in strikeouts and 10th in home runs as a hitter. Castillo, he looked incredible yet again. He had 9 strikeouts, and I hope that he stays long-term with the Mariners because he just seems to be a perfect fit. But here is where the wheels absolutely fell off. J-Rod, he smoked a baseball. It got dropped, and then the Halos, they botched a pickle. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and roll the tape. I just want to say one thing. Joe Maddon, he had absolutely no reason at all to get fired. The Angels have gotten worse since his departure. So if anyone is kicking their feet up and laughing, it's got to be Joe Maddon right now. Let's go ahead and talk about the only doubleheader from yesterday. We have the Tigers facing off against Cleveland. J-Ram, he drove home Miles Straw after Miles stole his second base of the game. And Aaron Savali, he was a wizard yesterday. He did take advantage of a terrible Tigers offense, but Savali, he struck out 10 over 6, which is fairly unusual for a guy that is not generally a big strikeout guy. Drew Hutchison, he tried his best to keep the Tigers in the game, but the Pens were going to have to step up, and Andres Gimenez said, F your bullpen. That is the first home run allowed to a lefty by Andrew Chafin. You can make a legitimate argument that at the time, the Cleveland Guardians traded away the best shortstop in Francisco Lindor for the future best second baseman in Major League Baseball, Andres Gimenez. We're going to talk about him in the second game. Clase, he comes in for a 1-2-3 inning first 27th save of the year, and Cleveland is now 7-0 since Detroit thought it would be a good idea to tweet out this stupid graphic after they swept us, after basically being our son the last half decade. Now, in game number 2, I will give them some credit. They did get payback. Tucker Barnhart, he singled home Kerry Carpenter, only to have that lead snatched by Andres again. He has 14 home runs, 15 stolen bases, and an insane 152 OPS plus. I didn't know it was that high. Regardless, Eli Morgan has been terrible as of late. Detroit, they took advantage. Scope and Kerry Carpenter, they go back-to-back on back-to-back pitches. That is Kerry's first home run. Cleveland's defense imploded in the 8th to allow a few more. Barnhart and Reyes, they both had multi-RBI days, as Gregory Soto, who comes in for the save. Yes, he allows a run that got a little bit scary, but he induces a double play to notch his 21st save of the year. Now, you guys know the drill. If we're going to talk about the Guardians, we have to talk about the White Sox and the Twins, so let's do that right now. The Twins are back at home after suffering a few embarrassing losses to the Anaheim Angels, or LA Angels, my bad. Also, I want to stop saying the word embarrassing for the rest of today's video. Now, this one started off rough because the AL Player of the Week, Vinny Pasquantino, went yard again. This dude's got to be 6'4", 6'5", pushing 260. The man is huge. Anyways, Max Kepler finally snapped an 0 for 29 streak, and Jose Miranda tied it up in the 5th inning. Rookie Jose Miranda has been very good with the 123 OPS plus on the season. Jorge Polanco, he lifts a sac fly to give Joe Ryan the lead, and Gary Sanchez, he extended it just a little bit as the pen for Minnesota. It's been very shaky as of late, but They got the job done, only 2 hits over the final 4 innings, and Lopez picks up the save, his 21st of the year. Houston, they looked primed for a big day, but Johnny Cueto stepped up and locked in after that unlucky first inning. Jose Urquidy and Cueto, they battled back and forth, with Urquidy tossing 7 shutout innings before entering the 8th inning. And shout out to Cueto. I mean, the dude matched Jose from the 2nd all the way to the 7th inning, and he gave his team a chance to make the comeback. And they did it. Eloy, he doubled to tie it at 2 runs apiece. He has been a monster since coming off the IL. And Moncada, he singled to center to score. Pinch runner Adam Engel. Luckily, the fan was in attendance to put Engel in the game. And then Jose Abreu also scored. As Liam Hendricks, he wasn't his best self. It got a little bit nerve-wracking. He allowed a base hit. He allowed a walk, but he got the job done nonetheless. So if we take a look at the AL wildcard standings, so the White Sox have won 4 in a row. The Twins got back in the win column. They're both just 2 games back of first place, not only in the Central, but also in the wild card spot. It is going to be a very interesting last month of the season. Speaking of making things interesting, the Yankees being very bad as of late could really shake some things up in the American League. Now, I don't think they're going to completely implode and lose their first place spot in the division, but Isaac Paredes, he finally woke up a little bit. He drove home David Peralta off of ace Garrett Cole. Cole only allowed 1 run. He was very good in my opinion. It's just that Jalen Beeks, you have Ryan Yarbrough, and the Rays bullpen, they were much gooder. That is for sure a word, by the way. It stayed 1-0 going into the 9th when Jose Siri singled to center for an RBI and eventually came around to score on Yandy's 2-run single. In all honesty, this might have been the single worst L of the year for the Bronx Bombers, and especially Aaron Hicks, who grounded into a double play to end a bases-loaded threat and also botched a fly ball in center field. The Rays have won 3 in a row, and if we're going to talk about the Rays and the Yankees, we have to talk about the Orioles and the Blue Jays. Anthony Santander, he laced an RBI single, and look at Ryan. Mr. Mountcastle got all of that one. That is his 16th home run of the year. The Jays scored 2 as well, but the O's, they get them right back and then some, scoring 3 in the next frame on a ground out, a double, and then an Adley Rutschman sac fly. The Jays pitching staff is starting to worry me. I'm not even a Jays fan, but I would be worried if I was. Barrios has a 5 ERA. Kikuchi has a 5 ERA. It is time to start worrying because those guys have to be clutch if they're going to make a deep playoff push, and so far they haven't been. We're going to go ahead and talk about some more wildcard teams, the Padres and the Phillies. Now, it wasn't going to be easy for the Padres as they had to face the human buzzsaw, Sandy Alcantara. Rookie J.J. Bleday, he popped off for his 2nd career home run. He now has 9 extra base hits in his first 23 games. Now, here's where things got a little bit spicy. For the Padres, it was like self-inflicted. Miguel Rojas doubled, and it looked like Profar challenged him to go to third, like he waved his glove, like, try and go to 3, I'm going to throw you out. So Miggy Rowe gets the 3 and then scores on a single. Profar got chewed out by Manny Machado, Joe Musgrove, even Juan Soto got in on the conversation. Profar later explained that he was signaling to the cutoff man to get in proper position. He wasn't challenging Miguel Rojas to go to third, and I can actually get behind that. Sandy was Sandy again, 7 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts on no walks. He was throwing 100 to 101 in the 7th inning. He now has a 1.92 ERA in 173 innings. Both of those are number 1 in the league. He is my favorite to win the Cy Young in the National League right now. Now, speaking of the Padres, an update on Fernando Tatis Jr. His dad said that Fernando Tatis Jr. got ringworm after a haircut, and it was simply a mistake that he did not know that close to ball had steroids in it. Now, listen, at this point, I guess I appreciate a father defending his son, but his son got $300+ million. He then spent the offseason riding motorcycles and getting in multiple motorcycle accidents, and then he got busted for roids because he was not careful and reading instructions, or at the very least trying to get something from a team doctor. But a lot of people are saying he couldn't get anything from a team doctor because the lockout was in place, so he couldn't communicate with the team. You just have to be more careful. If I'm Tatis, I need to pull an Astros. I am not going to say anything. I am going to shut up, and I'm going to let my play do the talking. Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, I have not heard a peep out of them. And the Astros, they are balling out right now. And honestly, I feel like they're earning some respect back from a few fans. So with that loss, the Phillies can actually leapfrog the Padres and the wild card standing. So let's go ahead and break it down. Philly, they were taking on Cincy, and Thor allowed a few runs in the 2nd, but his offense immediately had his back. Castellanos, he brought home Alec Boehm, and the newcomer Edmundo Sosa, he drove home 2 more. Now, after an RBI double later in the 5th inning, Edmundo is hitting .308 with 4 RBIs in his first 9 games, and he is playing platinum defense in my opinion. Noah Syndergaard, he tried to go 8 innings, but he gave up a leadoff home run to Jake Fraley to end his night. For Anthony Dominguez, he came in for a clean 9th inning. That was his 9th save of the year. So before we show the standings, first I want to say that Bryce Harper is back to hitting. The pins are out of his hand. It looks like he is close to a return. But let's talk about the Brewers and the Giants, because both of those teams are within 5 games of the wild card spot in the National League. Freddie Freeman, he finally ended his month-long homerless drought. That is his 16th home run of the year. Julio Urias, he carved up Milwaukee. I mean, who isn't carving up Milwaukee as of late? They have the 3rd worst batting average in baseball over the last 15 days, sitting at a .213 batting average as a team. Gavin Lux was kind enough to show the Brewers how to hit, so hopefully after that instructional hitting, we can get some breakout performances from the Brewers. Now, all jokes aside, Lux is tearing it up this year. I am very happy about that. He's hitting .296 with an insane .375 on base percentage on the year. That is really good. So the Padres and the Brewers both take L's. Now let's see if the Giants can continue their little win streak. Longoria, the potential future Hall of Famer, ripped his 10th home run of the season. Over his last 136 games, he has 23 home runs and a 122 OPS plus. If he can keep it up for the next 2-3 years, he might be a Hall of Famer. Slater singled home rookie Joey Bart, and the Giants put a hurt on Old Man Jenkins, former San Francisco legend Madison Bumgarner. He leaves after RBI base hits to Estrada and Joey Bart, all while his counterpart Alex Cobb was shredding on the bump. The Giants, they get a pretty easy W against the Diamondbacks. Now, the update in the National League wildcard, let's talk about it. The Phillies are still in 2nd place, while the Padres, Brewers, and Giants are all basically within 5 games. Who is going to make it? The war of attrition has officially begun. I cannot wait to see how the rest of the season pans out in both the AL wildcard race and the NL. The final 2 games from yesterday, we'll talk about them real quick. Nelson Cruz is still kicking. He pretty much won this game by himself as he grabbed the lead not only in the 5th inning, but again in the 8th after Seiya tied it at 4 runs apiece. Nelson has really showed his age since being traded from Minnesota to the Rays last year and now signing with the Nationals. Now, it's still cool to see the occasional great game, but at 42 years old, in my opinion, I feel like he is approaching the end. Marcus Simeon left the yard for his 18th home run of 2022, and I'm happy to say that his OPS plus is finally back over 100. He's actually been very solid over the last 2 months. Glenn Otto took advantage of the hapless A's lineup, who was going to get better. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Glenn Otto carved them up for 1 earned run over 6 innings, and Bubba Thompson had an RBI as Jonathan Hernandez grabbed his 4th save to give Texas a nice little 3-game winning streak. Now, I brought up the A's and that their lineup is going to get better, and that's because they're calling up top prospect Shea Langoliers. I can tell you guys right now, I've seen this guy in person. This dude absolutely slaps baseballs as a catcher. So if you're an A's fan, please let me know, is Sean Murphy injured, or is Sean Murphy going to be the DH, or what's going on with Sean Murphy? Because Shea Langoliers is a catcher. I don't know what's happening. But hey, everyone, that does it for today's recap. If I can find a cool moment from this day in MLB history, I'll go ahead and show that right now. If not, enjoy the web gems, and thank you so much for all the support as of late. I owe you guys the world.
As this one is launched towards center, Harris going back, warning track wall, leaping try, he got it.
Anymore. That's beautiful. He knew when he hit the warning track right here with his feet, he knew exactly where the wall was.
And that starter does not get a win. Runner from first, and that is up the middle. Abrams! Wow. Oh, that might be a game-saving play. I'll say one thing for this young man. Serious range from short.
Backhand play at third by Justin Turner. Stands up across to get him.
And Freddie Freeman picking him up. It's like he almost didn't know which way to turn. Like he was thinking about maybe I'll turn the other way.
On the ground towards short. Dubon flags it down, and a throw on the money. That is a fine defensive play by Mauricio Dubon.
You've got 2 runs to work with. Swinging here, ball.
Down the left field line, a leaning grab by Cody Clemens. He did it.
Oh my.
He caught it right at the tarp. His 2nd great play of the night.
Hit sharply toward third. Diving stops Sosa. Scrambles to his feet. Throws across the dive-in.
Oh. You're not going to see a finer play than this one. Sosa getting done with this.
Swanson at second, 1 out, and Riley pokes one to right. Moving back is Marte, and he makes the reaching catch.
When it goes, pitch is outside, throw down to second. They got him!
Now, if he would have been wearing one of those mittens, see how his hand goes up and it causes a